Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News on 3FM. My name is Beatrice Adu. The news is also live on Kesmi 107.1 FM and across the world at 3news.com. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Teacher trainees petition Parliament to summon Education Minister Dr. Adu over his inaction in getting aggrieved teachers in colleges of education back to the classrooms. We'll bring you details. Also coming up, leading contenders in the 2024 general election intensify their campaigns days before their crucial manifesto launch. We are live with details from both camps. Much later, tough task for the Peace Council as main opposition party rejects the possibility of a peace pact ahead of the December elections. All of these in the next few minutes. Let's start off from here. And the Teacher Trainees Association of Ghana has petitioned Parliament to help resolve the impasse between striking members of the Colleges of Education Teachers Association and the government. Now, CTAC members have been on strike since June 14 in protest against the government's failure to implement arbitral award on improved conditions of service. The strike has halted all academic activities across the 46 public colleges of education, with more than half of the student population vacating campuses. CTAC has refused to back down, following a decision to withhold their July salaries. Now, the teacher trainees, in a petition to Parliament's Education Committee, is urging the legislature to, among others, summon the Education Minister without delay. Abdul Razak Swale is president of CTAC. He joins us live on the line. Abdul, just tell us more about this petition to Parliament.
Yes, good afternoon to all lovely listeners, and then good afternoon to all students across all our various campuses. Yes, it is true and true. We have risen to some stakeholders, including the Parliament, to intervene in this matter because this has become a very critical issue. The strike has actually entered its third month now. Today happens to be the 15th day. Our teachers have been on strike, and yes, so we are not seeing any resolution in sight. And then it's an issue of worry because students, ever since resuming to their various campuses for the commencement of this semester, have not received even a single teaching and learning activities in the campuses, and this is making life unbearable for us as students in all the colleges of education.
Swale, did you receive any response when you submitted this petition?
No, currently no. We are yet to receive any response from such petitions.
Thank you very much. And you heard the Abdul Razak Swale. He is the president of the Teacher Trainees Association of Ghana. You're still here on the Midday News on 3FM 92.7. And this is your Election Command Center, and a spanner in the works or a legitimate call for action towards ensuring a peaceful election. That's the concern being raised now by various stakeholders following the NDC's reiteration that the party will not be a part of any peace pact heading into the December elections. National Chairman of the NDC, Johnson Asiedu Nkatia, in an interview with Accra-based Joy News, has re-emphasized the opposition party will not be part of any peace pact and its subsequent declarations, as they have failed to prove effective or binding. This follows a similar statement 3 months ago when the party announced its return to the IPAC. Now, for security watchers, the latest could be troubling. But what is the basis of the NDC's position? Just listen to Johnson Asiedu Nkatia earlier.
It doesn't mean anything to us because all previous declarations have not been adhered to, and those declarations have not solved any problem. If you allow violence to be brewed, you have violence, whether you sign declaration or not. And so that is why, for more than a year ago, I started talking about the need for us to remove the building blocks for a violent elections. So at any stage, when something is happening, I call on those who in future will call us to sign declarations to speak up so that we stop this particular thing from happening. Otherwise, if you allow all those things to build up, and you say that, let us go and play peace football match, let us sign declaration, let us do this with the hope that we will get a peaceful election. Peaceful election will not happen because we did all this in 2020. All this and more in 2020. Council of State, Peace Council, everybody was involved, signing declarations left, right, center. The 2020 election turned out to be the most violent elections in the whole of the Fourth Republic.
So this year, not signing.
So it tells you that signing or no signing is not the issue. What we have to talk about is the building blocks that will create the violence.
And you heard the chairman of the opposition National Democratic Congress, Johnson Asiedu Nkatia, and we'll be bringing you some reactions from the National Peace Council very shortly. We stay on politics because the flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, the NDC, is promising to introduce annually a national day of thanksgiving for Muslims and Christians to intercede on behalf of the citizenry. Speaking to religious leaders in the whole central constituency during his Voto region tour, John Mahama said his next administration needs serious intercessory prayers from religious leaders.
You make choices every day, and choices have consequences. Many nations, even though God expects us to work hard to improve our circumstances, also recognize that spiritually you must intercede for God to open the gates for you. And so in the United States, in Zambia, in Congo, in so many countries that I've been to, I've been invited to national Thanksgiving prayers for their nation. And so we intend to introduce annually a national day, of prayer and thanksgiving, so that we will thank God for whatever he's done for us, so that he will do more for us. Because he says, count your blessings, and if you accept and recognize and appreciate what he has done for you, he will do even more for you. And so we'll have a national day of thanksgiving and prayers for both the Christian community and also the Muslim community, so that all of us together will intercede with God to continue to open the doors for Ghana, so that our country would progress and prosper and create better opportunities for our young people and make our nation great and strong.
And you heard that former President John Mahama. Now, the running mates of the NDC, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, is also this afternoon touring 3 main markets in Accra, in the greater Accra region. Now, she will visit Malamata, Kaneshi and Makola markets to interact with market women, traders, shop attendants, shoppers, Kaye, among others. Evelyn Tengma is covering this event for us. She joins us live on the line. Evelyn, what can you report from this event? Hello, Evelyn, if you can hear us, what can you tell us from Nana Opoku's tour?
The Beatrice, we are currently, the
running mate for the NDC, Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman, is currently at the Carnation Market, and she just arrived here where she is interacting with some traditional leaders here before she will move to the market and interact with the traders. But earlier she was at the Malamata market, also here in Accra, and where she interacted with the traders there and spoke to them about the need to vote for the NDC. And of course, she mentioned that when it comes to the building of markets, it is the NDC that is best at doing that. And she mentioned the KJCR market that the NDC built for the people of Marseille, and the Kotokaba market that the NDC also built for the people of the Cape Coast. And so she's asking the traders here to vote massively for the NDC in the December poll. And she also mentioned the fact that the NDC is going to establish the Women Development Bank. And she mentioned that women indeed are the backbone of most families. And there's a need for women to have some kind of support to help them as well as their families. So she's urging the traders, especially the women in the various markets, to vote for the NDC so that when they come to power, they will establish the Women's Bank where they can access funds to support their families and themselves as well. Beatrice.
Evelyn, what has been the reaction of these market women traders, among others, to this message coming from the running mate of the NDC?
Yeah, so it's been a welcoming one for the running mate and the women at Malamata, for instance, where she went to. They welcomed her well, and most of them, what is pressing to them now is the fact that they want their markets to be redeveloped or to be reconstructed, because they are saying that the environment is not good, and anytime it rains, and the market is messy. And so they're asking that we should try and help them reconstruct the market when they vote for the NDC. And so basically the women welcome her well, all the traders there welcome her well. And so at Carnation now, she's meeting with the leadership. After that, she will go to the market to interact with the women, Beatrice.
Thank you very much. Evelyn Tema is touring with the running mate of the NDC, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman. Now, the Electricity Company of Ghana has clarified reasons for the complaints by customers of the supposed increased energy intake of new meters that are installed across the country. Briefing the media at the Accra West Customer Service Office during a visit by the Minister of State for the Energy Ministry, Managing Director for ECG, Dubik Mahama, explained that the new meters are far more accurate than the old ones and hence would read much better.
So their off basis points were not there. Decimal points that they were off were not that much. Again, before I even explain, with the new meters that we have, they are off by 0.05. It's very, very accurate. So maybe you might get away with just charging a phone, but every single thing you consume in your house is going to read it. We should be talking about energy conservation rather now than ever, because that's the only way that you would pay less. Because what is actually happening now is that with these new smart meters, every single thing you are doing is showing very well as to your true lifestyle and your true consumption. And then on the other side, tariffs have also increased. So it's not that ECG intentionally has put a meter out there to try to fleece its customers. We will not get anything out of that. These meters are tested by Standards Authority, by ECG itself, to make sure that they pass the quality test. Out there, randomly, Ghana Standards Authority also tests the calibration of these meters. So the truth of the matter is these are new meters. You are on an old meter, and possibly when the meter is so old, another funny thing how we lose revenue is that when we change the tariff, because your meter is so old, it might not take the new tariff. So you are enjoying the old tariff. So now finally that it has caught up with you and your true lifestyle is showing, you are complaining. But the truth is, yes, we do acknowledge our inefficiencies and we are fixing it. And in the same vein, you should also acknowledge that you also have a role to play in it. So it's a shared responsibility, and we need to help each other to grow in this sector. Thank you.
You heard the managing director for the ECG, Dubik Muhammad. The ECG further says that the change of meters across the country is in line with the PRC regulations to change meters after 10 years. Per the commission, most meters have already elapsed their lifespan. Judith Brown is there for us. She joins us live at video call. Judith, just brief us more on the reasons for the minister's visit.
Well, I'm currently here at the Accra West Region office of the Electricity Company of Ghana, where the Minister for State for Energy, Herbert Crabbe, has been paying a visit to. Of course, he came with a load of complaints from customers, as he says he wanted to be addressed by the Electricity Company of Ghana. This is the Customer Service Division, and so his complaints had to do with customer service and what they had to offer with regards to responses to the complaints of customers. And so basically his issues had to do with education of customers. He's calling on them to improve their public education as to how customers can resolve their issues when they call, what numbers to call, and other technical issues. So he's been speaking to them after they addressed his concerns, and he says that he expects that they put the customer first in their dealings and make sure that they work harder to make the customer their top priority. This is what he's been saying.
I think it should go without saying that everything we're doing, all the effort we're putting in, and I asked you a number of questions for which, some responses were given.
And you heard that the MD of the Electricity Company of Ghana, Dubik Muhammad. We'll hear more from him, but we're joined by the chairman of the National Peace Council, Reverend Dr. Ernest Dujanfi, regarding our earlier story on Peace Pact ahead of the December 7 general election. Good afternoon to you, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
I'm sure you've heard the NDC chairman there saying that the party is not going to sign any peace pact ahead of the December 7 polls. Is the National Peace Council worried over such utterances, especially coming from the leadership of the major opposition party in Ghana?
Well, we will say yes and no, because sometimes you read certain things in the news and you can anticipate some of these reactions. But the Peace Council's door is open, and we'll keep talking with the NDC. When the issue of NDC not participating in IPAC came up, it took us 3 years, but we finally got them to go back to IPAC. So we'll continue the discussion.
You'll continue the discussion. You've got just about 4 months to the polls, and the NDC seems to have a stance that you've not been effective, and at the end of the day, this is not going to change anything in terms of signing of the Peace Pact.
We've not heard them saying we have not done anything. There's a lot that has been done between us and all the parties for the last 3.5 years, and we are still on those things. The challenge we have had, which we have consistently emphasized, is that the parties meet with us. And for each meeting, they bring a different group of people. And it looks like those who attend the meetings are not able to communicate back to either the party members or their grassroots what has taken place. And that is what is feeding into this perception. All the meetings we've had have been covered by the press. And so we are wondering what is going on. But we are dealing with over 700 FM stations, over 160 television stations in this country. We cannot be on every station. So depending on what people are watching, I've been on Joy this morning. I've been on another network. This is the third time I'm speaking today. But they will still come back and say we have not said anything. Because 700 FM stations depends on what people are listening to. So that is a challenge we are having. And I think that sometimes the media houses who cover our programs should be able to stand up to our defense. That we did this, we were here, you saw this. We've had meeting with the leadership. We've had meeting with their youth. We've had meeting with their women. We've had meeting with their communicators. We've met the party council of elders. We have provided training for them in EDR. So when people say that we are not doing anything, you ask yourself what is going on.
So the question
but
really...
the other thing is that, our public must understand that the Peace Council's work is not only politics. As we speak now, we have 703 cases that are on the table of the Council, spanning ethnic conflict, religious conflict, chieftaincy, land issues, resource conflict, and several others. So when people say we are not doing anything, there are several things that we're doing. We can't spend all our time on just NDC and MPP.
So
those are the challenges we have.
So I was trying to draw your attention to the effectiveness of what you're doing, but I want to ask you my last question before you go. You're seen as the arbiter in case there's a problem, especially among the political parties. Now you're having an opposition party that is having issues with the Electoral Commission. It is consistently accusing the EC of trying to be deliberate to the disadvantage of the NDC, and now you that should be seen as the neutral group or arbiter, as it were, the NDC is having issues with you. When you say you're engaging them, with just less than 5 months to the polls, what exactly are you doing? And are there any immediate meetings planned, for example, to ensure we're able to deal with the trust issues and reduce tension as we draw closer to the polls?
Well, as we speak now, there's a meeting going on with the representatives of the parties. We set up the political party code of conduct committee. They are meeting today, and the parties are represented. They are talking about their own behavior, what they say on political platform, what they shouldn't say, how they should conduct themselves. They set it up. We inaugurated the committee. They are all represented. You see, so the issue is that after all these things are done, how do they communicate with their people? We have a rep who sits in IPAC. So all the discussions going on there, we know firsthand what is happening. So when somebody says something else somewhere else, we know what the facts are. We've had meetings where we've brought the Electoral Commission to explain to them the processes of election and the fact elections are won at the polling station. Results will be pasted at the polling station once it's declared. Anybody can take a picture of it all over. They've done all those things. So when we hear those things, we just sit back and look at them and ask ourselves, were you not the same people in those meetings? They should be able to explain to their grassroots what is happening, because we have a situation where we have instigated the grassroots to a certain point where sometimes it's difficult for the leaders to go back to them and explain these things to them. Clear things have been said and cleared. For us, we are satisfied with the process because we are there with them. So it's difficult for us sometimes when we hear all these things going on and we ask ourselves, what is happening?
Well, we'll look forward to hearing the outcome of the meetings that you have with the political parties towards having a peaceful general election come December 7. But we'll have to end it here. Thank you very much, Reverend Dr. Ernest Adujamfi. He's the chairman of the National Peace Council. Thank you for speaking to us. It's some 23 minutes past the hour of 4. You're still here, of 12. You're still here on the Midday News on 3FM 92.7. Now, the World Health Organization, WHO, has determined that the upsurge of mpox in the Democratic Republic of the Congo and a growing number of countries in Africa constitute a public health emergency of international concern. Over 15,600 cases have been reported in Africa this year, with 537 deaths. More than 96% of all cases and deaths are in DR Congo. The WHO said that mpox cases have been found in 13 African countries and its new form is spreading. It is the second time in 2 years that the organization has issued the alert for the disease. The public health emergency of international concern declaration can accelerate research, funding, and international public health measures and cooperation to contain the disease. It also triggers emergency responses in countries worldwide under the legally binding international health regulations. We're joined by Professor Fred Binka, clinical epidemiologist. Good afternoon to you, Prof. Thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon, and thank you, and good to your listeners.
This is like the third time we are speaking this week about this mpox. Now we've got the WHO declaring this as a public emergency, health emergency. I mean, from where you said, due to the new variant of mpox in Africa, what are the key epidemiological characteristics of this new variant compared to the previous strains that we had?
Yeah, so thank you very much. So first of all, re-emphasize.
Hello, Prof.
If you remember.
Okay, we were losing you a bit, but I think it's a bit okay. Please continue.
Yeah. Please remember, in 2022, this declaration was made, and actually very little came out of it. What happens now is that this current variant of trade has a very fast transmission characteristics. So within a short time, it's gone to about 15,000 in one country. And it's also gone to over 13 countries in Africa. WHO's confirmation then emphasizes the research agenda in most countries where work is done on mpox. So there will be more efforts to look at new drugs, vaccines, and also the manufacture of existing vaccines to be able to help to control and stem the spread of the disease.
Moving forward, what can be done to ensure we contain the situation? Because you're just painting a picture of a variant that is spreading that fast. And of course, that's also something that the WHO itself has said.
Yeah, so from where I sit, I'm rather happy that we have a variant that is spreading very fast. Most viruses, when they have two main characteristics, and that is the transmission and also their mortality, the amount of people they're able to kill. When they become very virulent and the transmission is very good, they don't tend to kill many people. If you remember about the COVID-19, when it came first, it was very virulent. It was killing many people. But as it developed the characteristics of fast transmission, the virulence went down, or the mortality went down. So this is the stage where mpox has arrived at. It will also help or research investigations that will focus on transmission rather than on treatment.
Thank you very much, Professor Fred Binka. He is a clinical epidemiologist. Thank you for speaking to us now. The governing New Patriotic Party has begun a massive campaign drive in the Ashanti region, with the regional executives being led by Regional Chairman Bernard Enchibuesiakon to visit homes of prospective voters, even at odd times, we understand, to convince them to vote for the NPP. The exercise, which has already started, appears to be the first of its kind, aimed at improving vote of the NPP in its stronghold. And with the party set to launch its manifesto this Sunday in the Western region, we'll be bringing you all the updates you need to know regarding how the NPP is galvanizing vote for or ahead of this year's general election. And that's how we end the Midday News here on 3FM. My name is Beatrice Adu. Thank you very much for joining us today. Log on to 3news.com for more news. Have a good afternoon.
wake up early every weekday because of you to keep you on top of your game. Yeah!
You are at the center of our universe. That's why we make it a duty to serve you only the freshest, hottest news and entertainment. When you want it, where you want it.
Good morning, Ghana, Africa, and the rest of the wonderful world. Welcome to Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. Start your day well informed. Start with us on Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. Catch the all-new Sunrise Morning Show on 3FM 92.7 with me, Johnny Hughes, Helen Obiambofo. Weekdays from 5:55 a.m. to 10 a.m. only on 3FM 92.7.
3FM, your urban lifestyle radio.
When it comes to the world of sports, what does complete mean to you?
When my team scores at the end of a 30-plus passing sequence, like Pep Guardiola style.
When someone beats the buzzer from a shot from the logo, like Steph Curry.
Dominating opponents and punching my way to a knockout, like Africa's greatest boxer, Azuma Nelson.
Running so fast that I can afford to celebrate midway through a 100-meter race and smash the world record like Usain Bolt.
Hold up. What makes all of these sports complete is the screen. This is where you get access to extensive analysis, insights, and highlights.
So join us every Sunday at 6 p.m. live on 3FM 92.7 as we serve you the most satisfying buffet in the world of sports. The 3 Sports team will come together to review, preview, and analyze the latest in sports on Sports Ultras.
Afternoon and welcome to Business Daily on 3FM 92.7. Coming up, parent company of Sage Petroleum, Quantum Group, debunks foreign ownership claims by LPG Marketers Association as it reaffirms commitment to cylinder recirculation model. We will bring you details. Also, government urged to scrap duties on essential imports amid rising food insecurity. We'll hear from Executive Chairman of Food and Beverages Association of Ghana, John Awusah.
Farmers that are suffering.
Whether it is grants, whether it's inputs, credits, we don't want MPs to be involved. Let's allow the strategy of allowing the private sector to lead the process to this.
Suffering due to the rising cost of food items. Not only that, but rent and many other things are going up. And when it comes to that, the government normally will have to take a very bold and courageous decision.
Meanwhile, Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana accuses government of politicizing Planting for Food and Jobs Phase 2 as it warns of looming food insecurity. We'll hear from Executive Director Bismark Tetenorte.
Grants, whether it's inputs, credits, we don't want MPs to be involved. Let's allow the strategy of allowing the private sector to lead the process to distribute inputs to farmers.
I am Bismark Awusah. These stories coming up on Business Daily. Stay with me. Thanks for your company. Now to our very first story, Quantum Group and its subsidiaries, including Sage Petroleum and New Gas, have refuted claims labeling them as foreign-owned entities. The group has, however, affirmed its support for the cylinder recirculation model, a government initiative aimed at promoting clean cooking in Ghana. The group clarified that they are 100% Ghanaian-owned and committed to playing a pivotal role in the successful rollout of the initiative. Quantum Group, along with affiliates Sage and New Gas, has issued a statement to correct media reports alleging that the companies are foreign-owned. According to the release, Quantum and its associated firms are subsidiaries of ARC Holdings, a Ghanaian entity with over 2,000 employees, and have been key players in the petroleum sector since 2009. The group expressed its full support for the cylinder recirculation model, CRM, emphasizing its alignment with Ghana's sustainable development goals, particularly those related to promoting clean cooking solutions. The CRM is designed to shift households from using wood fuels to LPG, reducing deforestation and mitigating health risks. The press release detailed how the National Petroleum Authority, NPA, has instituted a transparent licensing process for companies interested in the CRM. Quantum Group strategically invested in a bottling plant under its new gas subsidiary, which became operational in late 2023 after years of commitment, including navigating the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic. Quantum reiterated that bottling plants like New Gas are not involved in the retailing or distribution of LPG, which remains the mandate of oil marketing companies and liquefied petroleum gas marketing companies. The company noted that partnerships with these entities are essential to enhancing LPG distribution and CRM success nationwide. And that was a 3 Business News Desk report. Moving on, the Food and Beverages Association of Ghana, FABAG, is urging the government to remove all duties on essential commodities imported into the country to provide some relief for households. This call comes as soaring food prices have left 2 million Ghanaians food insecure, with 657,000 children under 5 suffering from the chronic malnutrition, according to a World Bank report. The association's pleas, inspired by the federal government of Nigeria's recent initiative to scrap duties on essential food items as part of its Presidential Accelerated and Stabilization Advancement Plan aimed at tackling Nigeria's rising food inflation.
The Nigerian government has shown the way, and we are expecting that the government will be inspired by the wise and courageous decision that the Nigerian government has taken and take a similar step and be inspired. Let them be encouraged that and take such a similar measure, remove the import duties on essential food items, allow same goods to be imported into the country, protect the goods from being re-exported, and then it will lead to a drastic reduction in food items, particularly essential food items in the market. Because as it is now, the rate at which prices are increasing in the market are just very unbearable. They are really very biting and having a very critical effect on the incomes and the lives of the people. The cost of living is going so very much high that it's affecting the standard of living of the people.
You heard the voice of Executive Chairman of Food and Beverages Association of Ghana, John Iwa. In a related development, the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana has accused the Ministry of Agriculture of politicizing the Planting for Food and Jobs Phase 2 program. The association alleges that aggregators are selected based on political affiliations who provide inputs to only party faithfuls for political gains. At a press conference, Executive Director Bismark Tetenorte warned that this situation could worsen the already struggling agricultural sector, leading to increased food inflation in the near future.
As much as possible, you want to try to depoliticize any government intervention and ensure that the right people benefit. If an MP gets fertilizer, what is the guarantee that he or she will not distribute to members of his party? What is the guarantee that farmers who do not know the MP or do not have any linkage with him will benefit? So this means that you are trying to involve politics in an issue that has to do with food security, and that's something that we cannot accept. We have evidence, and this is not an allegation, we have evidence that the MPs are taking fertilizers. There are some instances where even the MPs are even levying the farmers to bring money for them to bring fertilizers to them. That's not acceptable. If the MPs and DCs were not involved in the process, this wouldn't have happened. If we have gone through the laid down procedure for the implementation, this wouldn't have happened. So we are calling for a complete cessation of MPs and politicians in the input distribution process. Whether it is grants, whether it's inputs, credits, we don't want MPs to be involved. Let's allow the strategy of allowing the private sector and the agri directors to lead the process to distribute inputs to farmers.
Meanwhile, the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana has called on Parliament to, as a matter of urgency, intervene in the matter and summon the Minister of Food and Agriculture, Brian Echampong, to demand answers on the allegations.
We Parliament is a house where they try to put the executive arm in check, and where PFJ 2.0 has been the birth child of the Honourable Minister. And the Minister was quite clear on how the PFJ 2.0 should run. As I earlier mentioned, the input of the aggregators and the role they're supposed to play, the private sector, the role they're supposed to play. And the fact that the PFJ 2.0 is an input credit scheme where farmers are supposed to register. If the farmers want fertilizer, they are supposed to request on an app. If they get it, the app is supposed to tell them the number of bags they are requesting, how much they are supposed to pay at the end of the season, and the appropriate methods to ensure that the payment is made. But currently, we don't have that going on. So you have farmers who are getting fertilizers. They don't even know whether it is a grant, whether it's under PFJ 2.0, whether they are going to pay back. We don't even know what's going on. So how do you run the program and the program lacks focus? So there are questions to answer because they are also using state resources to do that. So we want Parliament to come in for him to account as to what criteria are they using, how much are they expending on the PFG, and what is the value for money.
Executive Director of Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana, Bismark Tete Usunoti, ending Business Daily with me, Bismark Awusah. For more business stories, please log on to 3news.com. Urban Blend continues with Black Blaster. Do stay.